Hello my friends and welcome back, it's Milrev. Today is the day we finally get to do this, use this sword, fully functional. I'm going to show you guys how to make this in two different ways, advantages and disadvantages. But before we get into that, I want to give a big shout out to Loup&Snoop. He's an amazing YouTuber that showed me how to use the hinge node on in his videos. Without him, this wouldn't be possible, so thank you so much. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. Let's get started. This video is actually going to be part 1 in a 3-part series. This video is going to be about how to set up one-hit enemies to be destroyed with the hinge connector, which is the simplest and most effective way. The second video is going to be setting up in case you want to do boss battles with it. And the third video is going to be about if you want to use 4-way sprites to be able to use the hinge connector and how the advanced techniques work with that. Today we'll be starting with making punches destructive, which is how we're actually going to destroy the enemies with this method. Then we're going to apply the character textures onto a box, which will hook up to our character so we can make the game. Then we're going to make the actual sword, and finally we're going to show you guys how to swing it, which is probably why you're all here. Let's begin with a simple person node on. I just use the sticks to make him move left and right, up and down. I also changed this so we're looking down on the character from above just by clicking it. After that, I just put a game screen around him, and we're ready to go. So we're going to need some enemies. Let's go under fancy round objects and grab some fluff balls. We'll make them a little bit bigger and put them over here. Let's go into the settings, change the x-axis rotation to 90 degrees. And then we're going to make them destructible to the destroy object node on. Next, we're going to grab a destroy object node on. This one's going to be useful for destroying the objects when we punch them. So let's go ahead and connect this to the person. Then we're going to go into the settings and we'll keep it visible for now. It doesn't really matter which one it's connected by its own as long as it's not center, but the target needs to be Z-. This will put it in front of the person. Let's also change it to only destroy the fluff balls for now. So now the hitbox is in front of the person. If we walk up to a fluff ball, there he goes, and it should work just like that. But that creates kind of a problem. We're on the right path, but we need something to change when we destroy them. Let's go ahead and grab a button. And if nothing else, I hope you guys learned this one and are able to use it in your levels. We're going to connect the button to the destroy object as well as the action motions. So now whenever he punches and the fluff ball is inside of this box, he should be able to destroy them. If only one happens though, it won't. Now, we are actually going to change our focus from the person to an object in order to put our link textures onto it. So I've made some walking animations over here of Link, but we can't apply these directly to the person without it looking weird. Let's go ahead and call up a simple object box, and we'll put our box somewhere over here. I'm going to change the size of this to 0.8 by 0.5 for X and 0.5 for Z. Let's go ahead and turn everything off on this except for movable. Hey! And we're going to have the connection point just like this, own connection Y minus target Y plus. Then we're going to connect this one up to the person, just like that. Now it should be above the person. We won't be able to see anything though until we connect our textures. I have it set up so these are the walking texture animations, and this one is when you press B, that one will happen. So let's go ahead and see what we have. Alright, there we go. It looks kind of funny, but I wanted to show that the person is underneath the texture, and we have the walking animation as well. When we turn the person and the destroy object node on off, it'll look really nice. So let's go ahead and go back into the destroy object, turn it invisible, go into the person, turn them invisible as well. And there we go, we have our Link walking around and he's ready for adventure, but he has no sword. When I press B, you can't even see anything. How is he going to destroy these guys? The next step will be making a sword. If you're running short on node-ons, you can use the same one up there to make this one, but I prefer to keep it cleaner if we can. So let's go ahead and grab another button node-on, and we'll put it over here. We're going to hook this one up to a calculate node on because we need it to move faster, so we'll grab the calculate and also a constant. Now if we just have a constant of 1, that won't do anything, so we need to actually move this one 50 times faster. Link is going to slash his sword very quickly. We'll hook these up together. And of course we're going to need a counter node on next. This is gonna count how fast and how far to go up. That'll be perfect, and it's fine just how it is, no limit starting at 0. We'll go ahead and grab under logic the not node on. This is gonna help us reset the sword back to where it started from. So we'll go ahead and hook the out of it to the reset port in the counter node on. The next step will be making the actual sword. So we're going into objects, simple objects, and grabbing a cylinder to use for this. We're gonna change the size all the way down to 0.1 for X and Z, 0.5 for Y, and make sure you remember to change this part, Y minus to X plus. Then we're going to take off visible, solid, destructible. We'll make it only destructive to what we want it to destroy, which in this case is going to be the fluff balls. And there we have our tiny sword. We're looking at it from above, so it's going to be pretty small. Try not to lose track of it. We can go ahead and add the texture to the sword next, so we can actually keep track of it this way. We'll just add it like that. And now we need to have something to connect it to the person with. So let's go ahead and grab a connector, a hinge connector, and we're going to use the Y connection. Now under the Y connection, we need to change the range from 0 to 90, and this is how far it's going to rotate on that hinge. Once we have that, we're going to connect the hinge connector to the person, as well as to the object that's our sword, and we're going to need to activate this by connecting it to this contraption that we made. Also, remember to use the B button to make this sword visible, or you're always going to be able to see it. Actually, let's leave it off to show you where the sword starts. So the sword's going to start over here, and when you press the B button, it's going to rotate this way. I also have the character change when I press the B, so it makes room for the sword. But when we go back and we connect the B button up to the visible, it'll only be visible when you press the B button now. So the sword is still to the side, but when you press the B button, it appears out in front. Once you have that all set up, the last step is going to be changing this destroy object node on. You actually might want to change this back to visible so you can see what you're working with, and we're going to try to make it the same shape as the sword. This is going to make the hitbox for when you're going to the enemies, so now we can measure it. It's a little bit shorter than the sword, so we can adjust it a little bit longer. I would also make it so you give them a little bit of grace in front of you, and now we should be able to destroy enemies with the hit of the sword. Once you have it set up just how you want it, you can go ahead and turn it back invisible. Now we have it set up just how we want it, and it's perfect. The sword is actually not there when we're not using it, and then it shows up and we destroy the enemy. Because the sword is not solid, it doesn't get in the way. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. You guys are real champions. If this has helped you out, please leave a like on your way out. Also remember to subscribe, because on the next part of this 3-part series, we're going to show you guys how to register multiple enemy hits, also show visually they're taking damage. It's going to be great for your game, so until next time, take care, and God bless.